Eh bien, ça fait 20 ans qu'il mange ma cuisine, demandez-lui.
Il est dans l'appartement, là? Ah, voilà,
Il est censé
Paul
être là.
McCartney, comment vas-tu, Paul? Ça va bien? Et voilà, voilà. Paul, la femme, très bien, Paul, non, je vais me mettre entre vous, excusez-moi de vous séparer. Voilà, alors, Paul, honnêtement, on va se mettre un tout petit peu à table. Alors, il faut dire que beaucoup de Français, en regardant la télévision, dînent, et je leur souhaite d'ailleurs bon appétit. Est-ce que vous aimez vraiment la cuisine végétarienne et est-ce qu'il y a des plats que vous préférez?
I like Linda's quiche.
J'aime bien la quiche de Linda.
She makes a very good quiche.
Elle cuisine une très bonne quiche.
Il n'y en a pas ce soir, là c'est de la tarte au potiron.
We eat a lot of pasta.
Nous mangeons beaucoup de pâtes, de quiche, des salades.
Yeah, she's a very good cook.
Oui, oui, elle est excellente cuisinière.
Est-ce que vous avez l'impression, même question qu'à Linda, de vous sentir mieux, vous qui êtes quelqu'un de très actif, depuis que vous mangez végétarien?
Yeah, I think so.
Oui, oui, je crois que si.
I feel healthy.
Je me sens
and I feel strong,
plus sain, je me sens très fort, donc vous voyez.
Ouais,
comme ça. Non, non, ça marche pas. Bon, bah écoutez. Oui, mais à partir de la semaine prochaine, ça va aller mieux. Vous verrez, vous verrez. En tout cas, je vous remercie tous les deux. Vous savez que on vous aime beaucoup. Vous allez nous faire un petit peu de musique, là, dans quelques temps?
Maybe next year.
L'année prochaine, peut-être, nous reviendrons, nous ferons une tournée.
Devenez végétarien et on reviendra l'année prochaine.
D'accord. Écoutez, je ne sais pas si je deviendrai... Est-ce qu'on peut être végétarien à mi-temps? C'est-à-dire, est-ce que...
Sure, yeah.
Oui, oui, sans problème.
Tout y contribue.
On peut le faire, ça.
Sure.
So you can do that. You can do that. On peut le faire.
Ma dernière question, c'est, vous ne trouvez pas que vous êtes dans un grand courant qui a lieu à la fois en France, aux États-Unis, en Angleterre, en Allemagne, en Europe, un grand courant écologique, un grand courant où on fait plus attention à la manière dont on doit vivre, à la manière dont on...
I'm 50 this year, yes. Well, there's nothing I can do about it, you know. I don't mind, actually. It's funny, you know, people seem more concerned with it than I am. I didn't do a big thing on my 40th. Everyone said, 40, ooh, you know. But it's 50. I'll have just an ordinary birthday party, you know. People keep saying to me, oh, you know, you must do something now you're 50. I think what it is I remember when Monroe was 40, Marilyn Monroe, and I was obviously much younger. And I went, God, is she 40? Wow, and you gauge, I think you measure yourself against stars' ages. So I think that's what's happening. People say, is he 50? God, what does that make me, you know? And they gauge themselves against you. But it really doesn't make much difference to me. In many ways, I feel better than I did 10 years ago, you know. I don't feel, you know, aches and pains and getting old and everything too bad. Touch wood, again. I feel very good. I'm enjoying my work. I'm enjoying my music more than I've done for a long while, and I think maybe that's a lot to do with it. If you're kind of happy inside, It doesn't really matter what age you are, you know. And I've met some 18-year-old kids who are older than me. I know some older people, like George Martin. He's much younger than me, mentally, you know. He's just a great guy. So it doesn't bother me age, you know. You're here till you drop, and then you're not here. Big deal. This is what. Yeah, Richard did the famous picture of his with Robert Fraser and Mick Jagger in the police van. And I'd already known Robert and Richard and Mick for quite a while. So that was really like, it was like a family snapshot, that really, you know. I mean, I remember Robert bringing me the newspaper with that in it. Or was it Robert? Because I mean, later maybe he showed me it. But somebody bringing me the picture and saying, look, you know, here's our friends, oh my God. And of course, see, we didn't take it as badly as I think everyone else did, in as much as it was a criminal act. Here was people with hands guarded. It looked very, once it gets in the newspaper, it looks awfully serious. These were my friends. I knew why Mick was doing this. It was a joke. He didn't have to do that. It was sort of, oh my God. And I knew what they were there for. It was pot. It was not, you know, the devil's doing. It was, we were fairly innocent. You just sit around and drink wine and smoke a bit of pot, you know, and talk a lot about art. I mean, nobody did anything naughty. I mean, it was really very civilized, actually. So the fact of these people being in jail and being the subject of this famous painting was a little bit tongue-in-cheek. I think we all took it that way.
And you know that can't be bad.
We'll leave that one. We'll give it 50-50 to Sutcliffe Lennon.
So there was this audition with Alan Williams, who was the little local manager, and little in height, actually. He was a little Welshman, Alan. He had a little high voice, you know. He was a great little fella, sort of little Liverpool Welsh fella. And he was a smashing little bloke, a great motivator, Alan, you know. We liked him a lot. We used to take the mickey out of him, you know. Anyway, he held these auditions in conjunction with Larry Parnes, whatever, and we were one of the bands. And now the big problem was Stuart not being able to play for this. So we had to tell Stu to turn the other way, do a Moody, just do a big Elvis pose, and turn the other way. In case anyone was taking photos, they'd see we were all in A, and Stuart wasn't. You know, he'd be like, he'd be somewhere else. So Stuart had to do that whenever they were taking photos. But he soon caught up, you know, and we passed that audition. And we went with not a Furious name, we went with a guy called Johnny Gentle.
Gentle was very nice, and he had, you know, like the suit that made him look like the pop star. It's funny, because nobody really, in those days, all you had to do is work for Larry Pons, and then they'd just print up those pictures of you and put you on a tour, and it was like as if they were supposed to be famous.
But he said, well, what's your name then? And John was the lead singer for this audition. And at that time he pretty much was. He said, John Lennon. He said, okay, well you can be Long John Silver, and it can be and the Silver Beatles. Long John and the Silver Beatles. Great. We all went, yeah, great. Well, you know, we'd do anything for the job. So that's what we became, Long John and the Silver Beatles. Then, of course, because we were really now truly professional, we now could do what we've been toying with for a long time, which was changing the name. John was Long John. People have since said, oh, John didn't change his name, he was very suave. Let me tell you, he was Long John. None of this, he didn't change his name. I mean, we all went off this idea after that tour and all reverted back to type, you know, and became, we thought, no, we can't have funny names.